The real heroes of our faith community are not those necessarily that we would recognize, but rather those who are doing a work that we rarely even pay attention to. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, Day 2 of the Torah portion, Shemot, names. Shemot also being Exodus. Let's go to Exodus, Shemot, chapter 1, and start reading with verse number 8. Then a new sovereign arose over Mitzrayim who did not know Joseph, and he said to his people, "See, the people of the children of Israel are more and stronger than we. Come, let us act wisely toward them, lest they increase, and it shall be when fighting befalls us, that they shall join our enemies and fight against us, and shall go up out of the land." So the resolve was, they set slave masters over them to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh supply cities, Pithom and Ramses. And then it details how they afflicted them more and more. So while Israel has been now in the land of Mitzrayim, of Egypt, for some generations, there is this new dynasty that has come to power. This is not the same family of rulers that exercised authority in Joseph's day. It's another group. They have no attachments to Joseph or to his legacy. What they do see, however, is this subculture that is now in their midst that outnumbers them. It's similar to the idea here in the United States that those who are coming up through our porous southern borders comprise a contingency that, if unabated, they will soon, at some point, outnumber us. It's the same mindset in the land of Israel that they have to keep a watch on population numbers, lest the Israelis themselves be outnumbered within the borders of their own land. The Hebrews here have become very powerful, very wealthy, very prolific in their generations, and they are someone to be considered. Here's the interesting part. What they decided to do was to accuse them or submit the idea of these Hebrews are not loyal to us. They're not loyal citizens. Now, this is hinted at for us. It says, lest they increase, and when fighting falls, then that they will join the other side. So they submitted the idea that if an invading force of another nation were to come in against the Mitzrites, the Hebrews would side against the Mitzrites rather than fight alongside those that they've been living among for many, many years. Disloyalty to the people, but more importantly, disloyalty to the government. There are numerous trails that we could go down of various theories and ideas and contemplations about government. Try not to do that today. It says here that they began to set taskmasters over them. Now, immediately what might come to mind is that they just brought them out of their homes one day and started with whips and chains. Maybe not. It could have been a little more of a process. It could have taken a little while before they were actually brought to that point. When it says then that they built the cities of Pithom, supply cities, Pithom and Ramses, it may have been submitted to them. This is a test of your loyalty. All good citizens of Mitzrayim are going to be involved in this project. We're going to build these supply cities. Now, this goes back to the days of Joseph. Let's build cities for supply against hard times. And all the good citizens are going to be involved. I read a rabbinical commentary at one point that suggested as this got started, then the Mitzrites, one by one, little by little, began to pull back from the projects until it was determined It's the Hebrews' job to build these cities for us as a test of their loyalty. And so there is this mindset of testing for loyalty. Here in America, and I know that there are those who watch this program from other nations, and it may be as bad or maybe even worse in your own location. But there are very insidious means where these kinds of tests are thrown out. If you are on the right side, then everyone will take a vaccination, or everyone will pay their taxes, or everyone will vote a certain way, or everyone will support a war or a new government endeavor of some sort. Some new theme will rise up within the nation, and everyone who is right will agree to this. It could be the cause of abortion. It could be a lot of different things. And so there are crises that are brought to us, and everyone who has the right mindset will be those who support or who stands against. And the lines of identification are determined. And so Israel, at this point, they're yielding. They feel compelled. And they find themselves in bitter labor, in bondage, mortar, brick, all kinds of work in the field. And then the sovereign takes it another step. And we've heard this word several times, oftentimes erroneously applied, genocide. Recently, in the last years, that's been floated around, the idea of some sort of genocide. There was an attempted genocide. The sovereign of Mitzrayim determined, if we do not allow any more male-born children to survive, the next test of their loyalty is that they will sacrifice their male children to the god of the Nile. And it was horrific. So he went to the midwives. Now, this is not a character that we see portrayed very often in Scripture. But there were midwives who came and helped mothers to birth their children. And it was the midwives who looked at the king and said, no. Now, they didn't do it blatantly, they didn't do it bluntly, but they heard the command, but they just went about their work and they birthed sons and daughters. It is not a foregone conclusion at all that we have now entered into a phase of time, not just where we're waiting for the last days to begin, but we are either in or beginning to enter into such a time frame. It is widely discerned this to be true. Now, my grandparents believed that their Messiah was returning 35, 40 years ago. Well, they were off a little bit. But how much more should we not expect his return to be imminent? In the book of Proverbs, chapter 11 and verse 30, the word says, the fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, and he who is winning lives. One translation says, he who wins souls is wise. Yeshua gave this commission to us in Matthew 28, 19 and 20. Therefore, go and make taught ones of all the nations, immersing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the set-apart Spirit, teaching them to guard all that I have commanded you. And see, I am with you always until the end of the age. As you are going, as you are living, win souls. The real heroes are not those who stand up against governmental decrees with banners and flags and ranting and raving in the streets. It's the men and women who work quietly behind the scenes, leading another one to Messiah, winning another soul, changing another life, making an impact on someone else. Be such a person. Be a hero today. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Till then, shalom.